Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And in today's episode, I want to it sounds silly, but I want to ruin the new book that I've just published for you. And I don't really mean that, but what I mean is I wanted to share the kind of secret at the heart of the book A Rich Man's Secret by Ken Roberts that Caffeine for the Soul Press has just published. And I was so delighted to be able to bring this book back into print, because when I was almost 30 years younger was when I first read it, and it was a book that was so impactful to me at the time because its message was so counter to everything else I had been learning about and studying about how to be successful in business and how to do well in life. And the book is a novel, and it follows the story of Victor Truman. And his story was remarkably similar to mine in that we were around the same age. I was around the same age as the character when I first read the book, and I had 2 kids like the character had, and I felt like I probably should be really good at something, but I didn't know what it was, and I couldn't find it. And so I had an instant connection to the book. And I loved the way it was written. It's a kind of written almost like a mystery story. And the secret at the heart of the book was not obvious to me, but each little clue that was dropped, I found incredibly helpful. And so what I want to share with you is a couple of the clues, and then I won't ruin the book as the publisher, I'm contractually not allowed to, but I won't tell you what the actual secret was. But I think you'll find these 2 clues might be really helpful. And those of you who follow my work have heard me use them, and I always have credited them. But the first clue that Victor gets is he comes across this tombstone in an old Civil War era cemetery in the middle of nowhere. And on the tombstone, it says, "Take the first step, no more, no less, and the next will be revealed." And I was like, ooh. And in the story, it's quite literal. The character takes the first step. He actually literally takes a step towards the gravestone, and he suddenly sees that on top of the tombstone, a date is carved, and that sets him off on his journey. So literally, he took the first step, no more, no less, and the next was revealed. But in life, I started to realize how often I looked to not even start until I knew how I was going to succeed. I wouldn't begin a journey until I had sketched out every step of the way. And I later found a wonderful echo of this when I started writing books in a quote from E.L. Doctorow, who wrote Ragtime, amongst other novels. And he said, writing a novel is like driving across the country in heavy fog with your headlights on. You most of the time can only see 10 feet ahead, but you can get all the way across the country that way. And it's the same thing that I've found now as just a truth about success in life, is you only need the next step. No more, no less. And when you take it, inevitably, something occurs to you or something becomes apparent to you that just wasn't apparent and couldn't occur until you took that very first or very next step. Now, one of the next clues that Victor finds in his search for the secret of his own happiness and success comes in a conversation with a wise older mentor that he meets. And he keeps asking, well, but how am I going to do it? How am I going to do this? How can I get from here to there? And she says to him again and again and again, Victor, now is how. Again, for me, at that time, but even now, sharing the story, that was such a revelation that I don't need to know how, as in I can explain it all and I have it all mapped out. How is whatever's next, whatever is right in front of me now. Because when I do what is here for me to do right now. That's the next step. No more, no less. And the next will be revealed. So now is how is the same idea as take the first step, take the next step, no more, no less, and the next will be revealed. And if all you did, if you don't even read the book, though I think you should read the book because it's a great book and I'm publishing it. But even if you don't read the book, if you just start with those two notions, that anything you want to achieve in life, you may have heard the Chinese proverb that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Take the first step. No more, no less, and the next will be revealed, which means that if you're wondering how you're going to do it, now is how. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring. Please do check out A Rich Man's Secret on Amazon, and I will talk with you soon.